You've always wanted to be a boxer.
Yes. Well, those were like the dreams in order. Before I started boxing, I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to be a mom. But at a young age, I started boxing when I was 11 years old. So I think at the age 9 or 8, people are asking me like, what do you want to be? And I remember saying like, I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to have 10 kids. That was like a big thing that my family used to laugh at me about and still laugh about to this day.
Do you come from a big family?
Well, my mom has 4 of us and then my dad has like 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you come from a fairly large family. So growing up, so what was it about boxing that drew you to this sport?
Me versus you, one-on-one. That's it. You know, I had played basketball, I played soccer, I ran track, cross country. I was doing everything, but it was like, I hated when they would say, oh, we got a team trophy, but it was second place. Like I would win a race. Right. But we would still get second place because all the points tallied up and this other team got more. Right. You know, and then basketball, they want to pass you the ball. And then, you know, girls get rough with you, you get rough with them back, but I guess I'm too rough. Right. And then I really enjoyed cross country, but I mean, running 5 miles, 3.5 miles all the time, like who want to do that? Right. And it just seemed like with boxing, it just made me feel really good. Like I felt very strong. I had got my first bruise there.
So you grew up liking the fight?
Yeah, I liking knowing that you said you could beat me up and you said you was better than me, but if I get in the gym and I work hard and me and you fight, I beat you. I liked it being like, there's nothing you can say about me beating you up because that's literally like what happened. Like there's no, people like say, oh, I got robbed, this and that, but it was like, I get in the ring and dominate everybody. So it's like, you saying you can beat me and I say, okay, let's do it. And it's woman versus woman, or a lot of times growing up, it was me versus a man.
And that's what I'm saying. But in boxing, okay, I understand points. If you knock somebody out, okay, obviously you win. But in a street fight, that's a whole different thing. So you grew up fighting little girls and little boys?
Yeah, up in street fighting? Yeah, that's how I initially got into boxing. But I started getting into fights at school because I was being bullied. I was never the person to start the fights. I was actually scared to fight when I was younger. Oh. So my anger drove me to fight after being picked on for a very long time. Right.
I read that you had like a speech impediment. You didn't talk until you was 5. You stuttered until you were 9. So how were you communicating if you're nonverbal? You didn't really speak until you was 5 years of age. How do you communicate?
I used to just cry. My mom used to scream at me like, say what you want. If you're hungry, say you're hungry. If you want to go outside, say you want to go outside. And I used to just start crying. I think it took for me to get taken in by my grandmother, Joanne, who really took her time with me.
Understood you.
Yeah, who understood me, taught me a little bit of sign language because they thought I was deaf, but I wasn't. I just didn't want to talk. Okay. And
did you know you could speak? So when you were by yourself, okay, in front of your parents or with your siblings, you didn't say anything. But when you were alone, did you speak? Did you hear your own voice? Did you speak and say anything?
I was able to think, but as far as in getting it out, it used to take a lot. So my grandma was very patient with me. She put me in a speech impediment class in school, an anger management class also. But my grandma was just like, she was sweet, but she was a no-nonsense lady. I feel like I'm a lot like her.
Right. Because the thing is, I had a cousin that stuttered bad, and my grandfather used to always tell him, and not in the nicest way, slow down, start over.
Slow down, start over. Think it, then say it. Right. So I had to get in like, you know, when you're emotions, right? You just feel them and you want to get it out, but it was like, you have to feel, think, then talk.
Right. And the more upset you get, the faster you want to speak and the more you stutter. And the worse it gets.
Yeah, because then you just be saying something that they're like, what are you talking about? So for me, I had to get in the concept of that. But when I found journaling, to me, it was like, if I could write something that I understand and that you can read, I don't even have to talk to you anyway.
Right. Exactly. So did the kids make fun of you when you would you talk in front of kids? That once you started communicating at the age of 9, would you talk in front of kids? Is that something that they made fun of you about? Because I had a speech impediment, and I would go to speech class, and I sounded normal to me. Yeah. Because to my ear, I'm like, okay, bro, what is it? Why is it that you guys like? What are you saying? I'm saying the same thing that you would say, but I didn't get it.
Right. No, so for me, that's why I got into a lot of fights. People making fun of me stuttering.
Mm-hmm.
People making fun of me how I used to talk and how fast I used to talk, because my mom talks really fast.
Right.
So it just was a thing of, I started getting into fights for that reason. People picking on me about my hair, about my clothes, because I didn't grow up with the best clothes,
Right.
you know, and stuff like that. So that's what made me start fighting to just, I think the first fight I got into, I beat somebody up pretty bad. And I just remember after that, they wanted to be cool. Like, they left me alone, right?
You're like, okay, I kind of like, okay, if I whip your tail, you gonna leave me alone. And the word to get around, don't bother Claressa.
Don't mess with, listen, the boys knew not to mess with Claressa, the girls knew not to mess with Claressa. Like, it was a thing, like, leave her alone, because for some reason, I guess when you're quiet, you become like a victim to people, and they feel like they can mess with you. So for me, you know, I stay to myself, but people just come up, well, these kids, you know, they're so mean nowadays. They used to walk up and copy my work, grab my paper, ball it up, and throw it away. So now the teacher's asking me what happened. I'm trying to explain it. And then this other kid can speak better than me, saying that I'm lying. I'm like, no, I did my work. She took my work and balled it up and threw it in the trash. So after going through that for a while, I think my first fight was when I seen somebody bullying my little sister.
Okay.
Who can talk.
Right.
And my sister used to beat me up when I was younger. So when I seen somebody.
She younger than you, she beating you up. And
yeah, my sister used to beat me up. Brianna used to beat me up. Yep.
But you felt bad. So they taking your homework.
Yeah.
They're copying your homework.
Taking it, then balling my
Ball your homework, throw it in the trash. So now when it come time to turn the homework in, you ain't got no homework. They got homework.
Yeah.
You trying to explain the situation. And the teacher's like, yeah, this is a situation where the dog ate your homework. I get it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, she's believing the other kid because they're getting it out. And I'm stuttering like, and I'm like, you don't know what I just said? Like, she took my stuff, copied it, bought it up, and threw it, and it seemed like that used to aggravate me. So I think I threw a chair at a kid before, not a teacher.
Damn. You had
Listen,
anger issues.
I had really bad anger issues when I was a kid. It took a while. I think probably like 16, 15, I finally was like, okay, I got control of this.
Right.
Yeah, it took a while.
You mentioned your dad was in prison. You said
Yeah.
you didn't see him for the first time until you were 9 years of age.
Yeah.
Did you understand? Did you know why he went to prison? And did you understand that him being incarcerated limited your ability to see him?
So growing up where I grew up at, nobody really had a dad.
Okay.
So it's like, you don't miss out on something that don't nobody else have either.
Right.
So it was like the community, like we all just had our moms, you know, and you can't miss something that you never had. So my dad went to prison when I was 2, got out when I was 9. And when I met him, I mean, honestly, meeting him gave me a whole new perspective of who I was. Like, my dad laughed really loud. And I used to wonder, like, why is my laugh so loud? You know, why am I so, you know, stern and mean? And my dad is the same way. Like, I think I get a lot of my attitude from my dad, and I get my sassiness and my fast twitch from my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know who he was when you saw him?
Yeah, I had seen pictures of him for a long time, and we look alike.
Right.
So I had seen pictures of him, and when I met him, and he started talking. When my dad first saw me when I was 9, well, he saw me when I was 2, but when he saw me again when he got out, he just started crying and smiling real big. And he had braids, he had cornrows to the back, and they threw like a big old welcome home party for him. And when my dad seen me and my sister, he just started crying, and he hugged both of us. And that was probably the first time that I really like let a grown man hug me, because I was more of like, don't nobody touch me, you know. But my dad came home hugging me and giving me kisses all the time. He used to make me kiss my lips. I'd be like, ugh, kiss your lips. And then I think one day I bought my face up when I kissed him. He said, why you do that? I said, Dad, that's like cigarettes. Like, just can we kiss on the forehead or something? He was like, yeah. So now whenever I see my dad, he see me, we kiss on the forehead. We don't kiss on the lips no more.
Did the kids make fun of you about your dad being in prison? Was that something?
No.
Did anybody know? Did anybody know your dad was in prison?
Nobody cared, because nobody had their dad.
Right.
We all was in school, and we talked about our moms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, our mom gonna pick us up. Mom gonna parent-teacher conferences. You know, it was our mom that was involved in our life. So nobody, like, just like I was saying, like, how can you miss out on something that you never had?
Right.
Now that I have my dad, when my dad did get in my life, I did want to spend more time with him and be around with him more. And, you know, my dad taught me how to run, to get in shape for boxing.
Right.
You know, he'd be on his bike or in his car, and every other block he'll have me sprint. He just had his whistle that was so loud and annoying. And when he blew the whistle, that's when you
Sprint, hit it.
That's when you sprint. So my dad would tell me I ran 2 miles, but really I ran 4. And my dad was like that.
He tricked you to run it farther than what you thought you was going. Let me ask you a question. I mean, you're and I think people that go through things, they're the best people to give advice. So what advice would you give young kids dealing with a situation that they have a parents incarcerated, and to deal with that they're not going to be around? They don't know if it's going to be a year, 2 years, 5 years. Like you said, it was 7 years in between 2 years old and not 9 years old and dealing with your dad. How would you advise kids to move forward? Obviously, each situation is different.
Yeah.
But what is some of the advice that you would impart on this younger generation?
For me, I don't think that any of us can control our childhood, you know, because we're kids. You know, but I think that long as kids understand that you make the decisions for your life. Whatever, like, I think the younger you start, the better. So if you want to be a dentist, a doctor, a scientist, whatever, nurse, you can start that at a very young age. And I don't mean like start having a job, but I mean like start making those choices that will get you there. Knowing that when you get to a certain age, nobody controls your life anyway.
Right.
I mean, I moved out when I was about 13 and I was living with my boxing coach. Right. So that was a decision that I made because I'm like, you know, the Olympics is in 4 years. So I got to start getting ready for the Olympics. So I always tell, like, my advice is know that it doesn't matter who your parents are or where you come from. Your life is about your decisions.
Right.
And I grew up poor. So me always believing in God and getting baptized, but Jeremiah 29:11, you know, for I got no other plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and plans to prosper and have a great future. And so that's how I thought about, like, right now, things may be going bad, but it will get better. So I always tell kids, like, listen, whatever you want to be, your life is your life, no matter your situation or your circumstances. You can have crackhead parents, you know, parents who abuse alcohol, drugs, whatever. But how you decide to make your life is on you. And when it turns out good, you can say you made the right decisions. Right. You know, that would be my advice.
Now, you know your aunt gets sentimental around the holidays. Every year, my family got one tradition. We crowd in Granny's kitchen. Everybody's talking loud, laughing, playing spades, trying to outcook each other. And you know what? I've got pictures to prove it. In Granny's sweet potato pie, my nephew wearing that same ugly sweater every year. That's good stuff right there. And you know what if I told you? You can relive those moments every single day. That's what Aurora Frames can do. These digital frames bring your favorite memories to life right there in your living room. You just download Aurora app, connect to Wi-Fi, and boom, unlimited free photos and videos. And the best part, you can keep adding new ones from everywhere, anytime. It's like sending love straight to someone's wall. So if you're thinking about the perfect gift this season, start early, the way you got time to curate it. Add those photos, maybe even start a new tradition this year. For a limited time, visit auroraframes.com and get $45 off Aurora's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using the promo code Shay Shay at checkout. That's auroraframes.com, promo code Shay Shay. This exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is the best of the year, so order now before it ends. Support the show by telling them Club Shay Shay sent you. Your mom, you mentioned your mom. Your mom had a drinking problem, battle addiction. What was that like? Because like little girls, a lot of times little girls want to be just like their mom. They, you know, do hair. That ain't what you said your life really turned around when you went and lived with your grandmother.
Yeah.
Was that your maternal grandmother? That was your mom's mom?
Yeah, my mama.
So can you contrast the differences between your mom is normal, she's not intoxicated or she's not under the influence, as opposed to her just walking around being normal?
Well, my mom is a lot like me, but she's way more quiet. Okay. My mom don't hug people. She's really quiet. She don't say much. She just kind of observe everything. And she's very sassy. Okay? Okay. And sometimes she can be a pushover. You know, sometimes to her friends and people that's close to her, she can be pushed over.
Try to take advantage of it.
But when she get that liquor in her, she Mike Tyson. What? I'm telling you the truth. Listen, my mama will knock you upside your head quicker than you can. Hey, listen, if you did something to her when she was sober, when she used to drink, she'll let you know. And it could be a month ago, 2 months ago, you've been and forgot it even happened. Maybe she called you ain't answer the phone. Maybe you did something to her. And I'm telling you, she gonna remind you when she get that stuff in her. and if you around, she gonna go upside your head. She go upside your head with that cane she got. Listen, my mama will hit you. She ran on me one time with that cane. I said, "Mama, chill out for real." Yeah. You know, but my mom, but that's the difference though. Like when she used to drink, she used to get real aggressive, real mean, and my mom can really fight. Like she can.
So you get it from your mama for real though, huh?
My mom and my dad used to underground street fight, but my mama, she like, I don't know. It's like she starts the fights, kind of like my little sister. You know, like they be starting the fights, and I'm like, "What's wrong with y'all, man?"
Right.
But that's the difference. So my mom, you know, it took for, I think when I turned 17 and I won the Olympics, my mom completely stopped drinking. You know, she stopped drinking. She became more like, now she like to hug me sometime, all that stuff, but she never was like that.
Wow.
When I won the Olympics, I feel like it made her feel like
she was proud of you, huh?
Yeah, she did something good. And I want her to know that she did do something good. Right. And that I turned out to be all right, even though my childhood wasn't all that great.
Have you ever had a conversation with your mom about what transpired in your childhood and what went on? You had a conversation with her. So what did she say? Did she apologize? Like, Claressa, I'm sorry. I know I did the best I could. I might have not been the best mom, but I just want you to know that I loved you and I'm proud of you.
Well, when I was 5 and I had got, you know, the R word.
Yes.
You know, families don't talk about that stuff for a long time. So when it happened to me when I was 5, we didn't talk about it till I was 16, almost 17. So when we talked about it, me growing up as a kid and being taken in by my grandmother and living with my grandmother most of my childhood after being 5, what I knew and what I felt, I guess was like, was it inaccurate or was it emotionally flawed? I don't know, but I felt that she picked the abuser over me, and I grew up with that in me for a lot of years.
You had resentment towards your mom.
Yeah,
because
for
she
a long
didn't
time.
believe you. Did you tell her?
Well, I told my aunt, and my aunt told my grandma. That's how I got taken by my grandma. But from my knowledge, I thought that I had to move with my grandma because my mom chose him. That was what That's
what you interpreted it as.
Yes, because you know they say keep kids out of grown folks' business. So I'm just with my grandma. So I go from being around 4 or 5 kids every day, my brothers and my sisters, to now with my grandma and just me and her. You know how it is with grandma.
Yeah, grandma's strict. Grandma
just cook and you watch movies and you don't go outside much. A grandma is, you know, she's grandma.
Absolutely.
You know, and so. That was how I interpreted it. So when I was like 16, I'm doing all these interviews, getting ready for the Olympics. I just beat the world champion, Mary Spencer. There's a lot going on. And they kept asking me like, you know, who are you? How was your upbringing? And I just was like, listen, I had a rough upbringing, but that's all over now. I'm about to win the Olympics.
Right.
But for some people interviewing you, like, that's not enough. No. Right? So they kept digging.
They really wanted the tea.
Yeah, so they kept digging and digging. And I was like, I don't want to tell anybody about what happened to me because one, I don't want to make my mom look bad, but then two, if my mom, you know, didn't believe me or took his side, then what I'm gonna look like telling the world that and they don't take my side, you know, or they don't understand or believe me. So I spoke with my mom about it, and you know, she let me know. She told me that she broke up with that guy after a year after it happened. She couldn't believe it. She never chose him over me. I moved with my grandma because he threatened to kill me. That's why I moved with my grandma. So my grandma, like I said, she's very stern and she ain't gonna play with you. So my grandma took me in just to keep him from harming me. And also too, he got beat up by a lot of my cousins. He got jumped on. I heard he got pistol whipped. A whole bunch of stuff happened to him. So it was a thing of like, all this grown folk stuff is going on, and me as a kid, I didn't know. So when I turned 16, my mama told me, and yes, she apologized. You know, she apologized, let me know that she loved me, that it was okay to talk about it and get it out. And me being able to talk about it is what made me feel
like a weight is lifted off.
It was a weight off my shoulders. It really was, because it was like a deep secret that I was hiding. And I just remember kind of like, I don't know if I was blaming myself or what, but it was like, dang, I always felt like, you know, like I wasn't good enough to be with my siblings, to be with my mom. But I'm grateful for my grandmother because she, taught me how to clean up, you know, shower, keep your clothes together, fold your clothes, hang your clothes up. Taught me how to cook. You know, like my grandma.
You already talked about you wanted 10 kids, so she's like, well, you want 10 kids, you gotta
My grandma wanted me to sing. My grandma used to always give me mic sets for Christmas and try to make me sing and stuff. But I was always shy because I was singing in front of her. But when it came, like, you know, like when the family come
together like, Claressa, get up there and sing.
Nah, I ain't doing that. My grandma used to be like, Coco, I said sing. I'm like,
oh, so that was your nickname, Coco?
Coco. That's why I wear it on my shorts.
Okay.
On my shorts, yeah.
I think I read where you said that your mom would get intoxicated sometimes and you would walk around for days looking for her.
Yeah, we have to go get her, yeah.
You're a child, Claressa. Do you really did you realize at the time, I'm a child, that this wasn't normal? And I understand that you said most kids in Flint didn't have their father, but most kids in Flint probably wasn't walking around the neighborhood trying to find their mom either.
Well, it's me and my sister, and I'm the second oldest out of my siblings.
Okay.
So I have a big brother who's 4 years older than me, but I'm like his big sister too.
Right.
He called me his little big sister.
Right.
So I've always kind of like been the oldest. So when it comes to our mom, my job has always been to protect her.
Okay.
So if she gone for a couple days and we don't know where she at and we don't know about her safety, we're not gonna call the police and stuff. We get out there on the streets and we go find her. And it was always a thing of, see, my sister spent more time with mom than me. So I would tell her, think in your memory, what houses y'all went to and what streets, because Flint ain't that big.
Right.
Flint, 10 minutes north, 10 minutes south. 10 minutes east, 10 minutes. So you can walk around the whole Flint probably within 4 hours.
Right.
Just walking around and hit the whole thing. So that's just how we used to go get her. And when we go get her, everybody knew, like, I was real mean. Like, I was real mean, I was rough, and I would fight you. So people knew, like, hey, she here to get, I'm here to get my mama. And I go on there, I get her, and we go home, and like I say, you know, but she was grown, she was always good, but it was more of a thing like, it was my job, you know, sadly, it was my job, and I wouldn't choose anybody else to be my mama. Like, my mama she's a great person, you know, she just dealt with something that she couldn't defeat at the time.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why you're as resilient as you are, is because of the things that you had to overcome in your own childhood?
Absolutely. That's why I have a no back down attitude. I don't take disrespect. I know that mentally I'm tougher than a lot of people. I know the heart that I got, other people don't got it in them, that they couldn't survive. People talk about me inside the ring, you know, but outside the ring, I know that people couldn't make it through what I made it through. And then when they come inside the ring, and then that carries, I got a no quit attitude. I'm very tough. I'm very skilled. I'm mean in there. And I don't take no for an answer. I don't back down. So I know that with all of that together, combined with hard work and prayer, that's why I'm undefeated and unbeatable.
Growing up, did you cook as a child? Did you learn that, or did you, once you got older and had to cook? Because I read that your mom used to sell, to fuel her addiction, that she would sell the food stamps. So now that makes
you did your research.
That makes it very, very difficult for you to get food because you're reliant on that assistance.
Yeah.
And now, man, what are we gonna eat? And you have to make something out of nothing.
Listen, when we didn't have food stamps, I wasn't really that good at cooking back then. I probably hadn't had an idea from watching my grandma. But me and my sister, my brother used to split a pack of ramen noodles. We break it down in 4 pieces. We'll cook it, and that's how we used to do it. I used to go without eating a whole lot to make sure that they ate.
Wow.
So that was but like I said, I'm the big sister though. So it's not a thing of, I kind of felt like, once again, like that's my job.
Yes.
Like, I just moved my little sister to Atlanta, her and her 3 kids, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
She has an apartment 5 minutes from me now.
Right.
Like, I don't know, it's not my job to take care of them, but it's my job to make sure that everybody is good, if that makes sense.
That's normally the oldest daughter. She normally takes on the mother's role. My mom is the oldest, and so when my grandmother would go to the fields with my grandfather, it was my mom's job to raise the other kids. you took that on. Okay, my mom's not here. Now I got to be the mom. I've got to make sure they're dressed, get them ready for school. I've got to make sure I've got to find
I
a
just
way.
want everybody to turn out all right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't gonna be famous.
How did where did that come from?
I mean, I just love my siblings, and they love me before I had anything. I think me and my sister are the complete opposite, but it's needed. It's needed, you know. I'm like sunlight and she like darkness, you know. And but I think that, you know, before my fights, if my sister don't call me or she not in the back room, I don't really feel like the beast that I am. Like she's seen the beast before the makeup and the hair.
Yeah.
And I always like for her to remind me of that. And sometimes she in the back room, she like, hey, if you don't whoop her ass, I'm whooping your ass. I'm like, all right. Even though you can't beat me up no more, but it still sounds good. You know, so.
So let me ask you a question. Like when you were like hungry, did you eat a lot at school? Because I mean, the school lunches.
We definitely
relied. Bang though.
We definitely relied on the school lunch. And listen, I have friends. I'd be like, hey man, let me borrow $1. I'll pay you back.
Never.
Hey, some of my friends still be like, you know, you owe me $1.25 from when I bought you some pizza. I'd be like, I really don't remember.
Your grandmother passed away. Do you remember where you were when you got the news that your grandmother had passed? And I can just imagine, because I know I had my grandmother for 43 years, and I still remember it to this day like it was yesterday when my sister called and said, Shannon, Granny's gone. So because the woman that gave you basically everything but life. She took you in when you was at your most vulnerable, when you were at your lowest, and she helped you become the woman that we see sitting here today talking to me.
I can't think about, you know, my grandma was my best friend, and when she passed, it really hurt my heart. You know, I really wanted to go with her, you know, because I was just like, I got to be stuck here with the rest of this stupid family, and she was the best one to me. I wear cocoa on my shorts for her. I wear the Betty Boop socks. I try to carry her memory and, you know, hold myself to a high standard, you know, but my grandma she was everything to me. And where was I at when she passed? I had just seen her 2 weeks prior, and I knew she was about to pass.
She had cancer, correct?
She fought cancer like 4 times, had overcame it, then it kept coming back. And this time I guess it took over her. It took over everything, basically. And I just remember, I seen her 2 weeks before she passed, and she was like, you know, my granny was really funny and sarcastic. But she told me, she said, Coco, when I die, make sure they bury me upside down. Face down. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, so everybody can kiss my ass. I was like, I think I cried that day when she was telling me that. But I remember when she said it, I started laughing, and she was like, for real, Coco? She said, at my funeral, don't be letting everybody come up and kiss and hug on me. She said, you know, I ain't like people, like, I don't like these people. I said, Grandma, you gotta stop, you're not going nowhere. And then, but she passed probably 2 years before I won the Olympics, but she knew I was going. She knew I was getting prepared for it. She kept my robe hanging outside her house. I had a gold robe that said T-Rex on it. And, you know, I never really mourned my grandma passing until a few years ago because it was too hard to deal with. But her birthday's coming up November 5th, 6th, and she passed away December 21st. So November 5th, I think it's November 5th or 6th, one of them days, we're gonna celebrate her birthday. I always had a family come. We're gonna do a big dinner. And then on her day that she went to be with the Lord, December 21st, we let off balloons and everybody say what's their best memory of her. And we all got some funny memories with grandma. So, and I can say that I was a favorite. You know, my grandma loved me, and she let me know back then, you know, that I was worth the trouble. You know, she let me know that even though I was different, she was always talking about equal rights and equal pay for women. This is when I first got into boxing, and I really didn't understand why she was preaching it so much to me, but she was always on it, and it kind of prepared me for when I turned pro, for the inequality that we have to go through and all the fights and the challenges that I had to overcome. I feel like she mentally, she prepared me, because the stuff that she was saying, I kind of was like jotting down in my head as notes. So, and it really helped me in the amateurs to get equal pay for the women. who was on the Olympic team. So it really helped them, but it's just something that she kind of instilled in me, on stand on your word, finish what you start. Losers never quit and quitters never win. Like my grandma instilled a lot in me, and she just was like always, hey, try to talk it out, but if you can't, lay them out. Hey, if you can't talk it out, lay them out. And and I'm a true believer in that. I think that I try to squash a whole lot of beef with people, and it's like, you know what? Me and you just got to fight. This ain't gonna work.
We can't get along. We gonna get it on now.
Get it on. Let's go.
Claressa, you've overcome a lot. I mean, in background and researching you and reading your story, you tried to commit suicide twice at 13 and at 16. What was going on so bad in your life that you say, you know what, it's better if I go someplace else than have to deal with what I'm dealing with here?
You know what? I think that at 13 I was just angry, kind of confused about like, why am I a kid having to go through all of this stuff? But I think at 16, when I tried to do it, it was simply because, heck, I thought my chance to go to the Olympics was over. It wasn't because I was still undefeated, but I think two or 3 weeks before this big tournament to fight my way to the Olympics, my mom, being intoxicated, a door fell and hit me right on the eye, like a corner. It fell, like it was off the hinges and it fell. It made my eye real big. I couldn't see out of it. And this tournament was up in 3 weeks, and this was my only chance to make it to the Olympics. So that's when I was like, if I can't go to if I can't fight my way up out of here, and I gotta stay here because this didn't happen, I would rather just go. And I was gonna cut my wrist, and I was in the closet, and I called one of my friends. I made a post on Facebook or something, and one of my close friends, Aaliyah, called me, and she was like, whatever you're thinking about doing, don't do it. She was my best friend. She still is my best friend now. And I was in my closet, and she was like, I was sitting down. She was like, go in the closet, go and pray. She was like, what are you doing? I'm like, listen, I got this knife. I'm tired of being here. Like, if I can't fight my way up out of here, I'm not about to live like this. It's over with. And she was like, go in your closet and pray. And she spoke to me on the phone for hours, and I fell asleep in the closet, woke up, still big as hell. And I just remember my mom she was sober now, she came, and asked me what happened to my eye, and I was like, you did it. The door hit me in the face when you was acting crazy or whatever. And then I just remember from there, and then my coach came, and he was like, we're gonna have to ice this, and you may not be able to go to the tournament, blah, blah, blah. And I believe I think my eye stopped being black maybe a day before that tournament started, or the day of. But it was like I still went and fought 5 days back to back and fought my way to the Olympics. And that's all I really wanted to do, at 16.
I don't think, looking at it and people that go through, obviously, when people decide to take their own life, it's because they're in a lot of pain. But I don't think they realize the pain that they're in. Imagine that the pain that you do to the people that's left behind.
No, absolutely.
Because they're asking questions. What is it? What was going on so bad? And now, for the rest of their lives, they're asking these questions, and they're having to deal with the pain that you thought that you couldn't overcome.
I think that too, when I was that young, I felt like I didn't know what depression was. We all know what sadness is and when we're mad, but we don't know what depression is. And, depression is when you're having them suicidal thoughts, them bad thoughts, them like, for me, when I went through depression, it was like I'm always a big advocate for myself and always speaking positive and uplifting. And then it's like, when you get depressed, that same voice that was being uplifting and that was being positive now is being negative. Now it's being, and then it's your voice. And that's what was hard for me to deal with. But once I, like I said, figured out, listen, things, every day is not going to be a sunny day, right? But that doesn't mean that it's like mud either. So I had to differentiate that, and then just know that, listen, it gets better. I always tell myself when I'm going through something, I'm like, there's somebody going through something worse. I always tell myself that. And people, when they come in with their problem, I say, you know what? It's somebody doing worse than you, and they think I'm being sarcastic. I'm like, I'm for real. It's somebody doing way worse than you. I just seen somebody sleeping under a bridge with a cover with like dirty clothes on. At least you in somebody's house and you able to lay down and get some food. They out there sleeping on the concrete and asking people, strangers, for money. It's people. There's always someone doing worse than you, and I always try to tell myself that when I feel like things are getting hard, and I tell people that who come to me complaining about things being hard.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because we like to do something before two something.